Welcome, everybody, to the final score. I'm your host, Nicholas Marsunov, and today we are going to be talking about our predictions for round two of the 2021 NHL playoffs. The round two has already begun. I'm a day late, but it's better late than never. And it's a little weird because not all of the series from round one has finished up. I am referring to, of course, the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens taking it to game number 7 in just a little while. And you know what? For the round two predictions, that's the first series that we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about the Winnipeg Jets either playing the Toronto Maple Leafs or the Montreal Canadiens. If the Toronto Maple Leafs win game number 7, the Toronto Maple Leafs will be the home team, of course, because they are the number 1 seed in the North Division. But if the Canadiens, if the Montreal Canadiens win, the Winnipeg Jets will have home ice advantage because the Montreal Canadiens are the 4th seed. Let's just take a quick little look at both of these teams. So the Toronto Maple Leafs won the North Division with a record of 35, 14, and 7 for 77 points versus the Jets. They are 6, 4, and 0, whereas the Montreal Canadiens are the 4th seed with a record of 24, 21, 11, and 59. The Jets versus the Jets, they are 3, 3, and 3. Before we can figure out who will be taking on the Jets, they will be playing game number 7. The Montreal Canadiens have won the first game, the 5th game, and the 6th game. The Toronto Maple Leafs won games 2, 3, and 4. So Montreal has been able to bounce back from being down 3-1 to force a game 7. We will have to see if they are a little bit luckier than the Minnesota Wild. But for the Winnipeg Jets, their record against the Maple Leafs is 4, 4, and 2 versus the Canadiens, they're 6, 3, and 0. If you ask me, the Toronto Maple Leafs don't really want to see the Winnipeg Jets. Well, they do want to see the Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets don't really want to see the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're hoping that the Montreal Canadiens can upset the Toronto Maple Leafs. However, that also might not be that great because Montreal's record, I'm normally in a swivel chair, I apologize, is 3, 3, and 3, which tells me that whenever Winnipeg plays Montreal, Montreal keeps it very close. And in these playoffs, we see that not everything goes the same way as the regular season. So I have to give you guys two predictions for this one because, well, it could be either team, and we just don't know right now at the time of this recording at May 30th, 2021. If it's the Toronto Maple Leafs who will take on the Winnipeg Jets, even though the Winnipeg Jets defeated the Edmonton Oilers in a sweep, I think the Toronto Maple Leafs will probably win. However, on the other side, if the Montreal Canadiens upset the Toronto Maple Leafs, I think that they exceeded expectations. They are playing with house money. There's no real expectations for them to go any further. I think the Winnipeg Jets will defeat the Montreal Canadiens. I know it's a little cheap to give you guys two predictions, but the NHL decided to start the playoffs round two before this series can finish. And it did start later, but it irks me a little bit. But all right, that is the North Division. We're just going to move on to the next division. It is going to be the East Division. So this one, neither the 1 nor the 2 seed actually made it to the second round because the Boston Bruins, who went 33, 16, and 7 for 73 points, they knocked out the Washington Capitals in 5 games, whereas the New York Islanders, who went 32, 17, and 7 with 71 points, knocked out the number 1 seeded Pittsburgh Penguins in 6 games. Now, I was able to successfully pick the Boston Bruins, but I did pick the Pittsburgh Penguins against the Islanders, and I was wrong. And you know what? I'm really happy that I was wrong because the New York Islanders have a lot of good players on their team. I like Barry Trotz as the head coach. The Boston Bruins, Tucker Rask is going to be awesome. The Bruins are 3-3-2 versus the Islanders, whereas the Islanders are 5-2-1. So the New York Islanders sort of have the edge in this series, just based off of the regular season. And this is the series that has already played one game. Boston Bruins already lead the series 1-0. Quite a commanding game number one for the Boston Bruins. However, I am going to have to give the edge to the New York Islanders. I was just far more impressed with how the Islanders played against the Pittsburgh Penguins, rather than how the Boston Bruins played against the Washington Capitals. I cannot take anything away from either of these two teams, but to me, it was just more impressive, the Islanders knocking off the Penguins. But again, a very special thank you to the Boston Bruins for taking out the Washington Capitals because, well, Tom Wilson wasn't going to get suspended, so you got to take him out of there somehow. All right, we will just move on to the next matchup then. And this is probably going to be a shorter video, seeing how there is just going to be 4 series in round 2. But the next matchup is going to be in the Central Division. It's the number 1 seeded Carolina Hurricanes hosting the defending Stanley Cup champions, the number 3 seeded Tampa Bay Lightning. Over the regular season, the Carolina Hurricanes went 36-12-8 with 80 points. They defeated the Nashville Predators in 6 games, whereas the Tampa Bay Lightning in the regular season went 36-17-3 for 75 points. They defeated the Florida Panthers in 6 games. So both of them had a little difficulty versing their opponents. Head-to-head in the regular season, though, the Hurricanes are 4-3-1, whereas the Lightning are also 4-3-1. This is a pretty even series. It's going to come down to a lot of major playmakers and how well the goaltenders can do. You have Nedeljkovic versus Vasilevsky. That's going to be a great matchup that I'm looking forward to. And it's going to be tough. The Tampa Bay Lightning are going to be a very tough out, seeing as they are the defending Stanley Cup champions. And whenever they won the Stanley Cup in the regular season, it didn't really feel like they lost a step. Maybe they took a minor step back. They didn't win this new Central Division, but hey, you're going to play the same teams 7 or 8 times. And the Carolina Hurricanes, well, they finally got to do some storm surges in the playoff in front of fans, and it was glorious. Very happy for them. Love the storm surges. For this matchup, though, I said it in my previous video. I learned from last season how I always picked it against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Tampa Bay Lightning ended up winning the Stanley Cup. They just have too many good players. And I do think that playoff Tampa Bay Lightning is probably a little bit better than the Carolina Hurricanes playoff hockey. I picked the Hurricanes to sweep the Nashville Predators. I thought this was going to be a no-brainer. Yeah, familiarity, whatever. I was just not impressed. I thought that they just let games get a little too close, a little too far away, and you can't let that happen to the Tampa Bay Lightning. On the Tampa Bay Lightning end, it was fairly dominant except for the 2 games. And one of them, you had a brand new rookie goaltender come in and he just walled the Tampa Bay Lightning. I can't fault the Tampa Bay Lightning too harshly. So out of that, I think the Tampa Bay Lightning are probably going to take this series. Oh man, I forgot to mention how many games. I'll just mention it at the end. But for this series, 6 games. 6 games feels about right. Maybe even 7. I do feel like they are relatively close. So 6 or 7 games, I think that would be a very fun and exciting series. But for the last series that we are going to be talking about, it is going to be, in my opinion, the main event of round 2. It's going to be the number 1 seeded Colorado Avalanche taking on the number 2 seeded Vegas Golden Knights. The Colorado Avalanche went 39-13-4 for 82 points in the regular season. To make it to round number 2, they had to sweep the St. Louis Blues, and the St. Louis Blues just let them do it. For the Golden Knights in the regular season, they went 40-14-2, and they defeated the Minnesota Wild in 7 games, a team that they have always struggled with. For the last couple of games, for games number 5 and 6, I was doing a live stream on my channel. Got to meet so many very nice Minnesota Wild fans, and it was just very funny that here I am, a Vegas Golden Knights fan, and the 2 times that I live streamed, the Vegas Golden Knights just got the poop beat out of them. It was very funny, but I try not to be biased. The Colorado Avalanche during the regular season versus the Golden Knights is 4-3-1, whereas the Golden Knights versus the Avalanche are 4-4-0. These are 2 teams that match up very well against each other. It's a back and forth game. You have playoff McKinnon going crazy, and Marc-Andre Fleury did get the nod in the round 1 for the Vegas Golden Knights. I was very pleased to see that. Had a couple of unlucky games against the Minnesota Wild, but other than those games, he's been pretty stellar. This is going to be just an exciting game or an exciting series, and I do plan on live streaming during the series. However, I will not be live streaming today, 5:30, because I am going to be with my girlfriend, and I will not be live streaming games 3 and 4 because I will be on vacation. I hope you guys understand. But for game number 2 on Wednesday, we are here. We are going to be live streaming. We are going to enjoy this series. It's going to be a great one. And honestly, as a hockey fan, I want this series to go to 7. I want the Vegas Golden Knights to go back-to-back 7-game series. I think it's going to be very intense. I think that it is going to get more brutal as it goes along. But if I'm being honest with myself, as a hardcore Vegas Golden Knights fan, I have to give the edge to the Colorado Avalanche. On top of that, I am going to say that whoever comes out of this series is probably the favorite to win the Stanley Cup. And I would not doubt if either team would make it to the Stanley Cup and possibly win it. They will have to face some pretty hardcore teams, but I think these 2 are probably the 2 favorites to win the Stanley Cup. And I do have to give the edge to the Colorado Avalanche. Does this bode well for the Vegas Golden Knights because I gave them a L in the round 1 against the Minnesota Wild? Maybe. Maybe it doesn't bode well for the Colorado Avalanche because I'm jinxing them. I don't know. But right now, in my heart, I feel like it'll go to game 7 with Colorado Avalanche just eking them out, and we are going to have to see that handshake line with the Colorado Avalanche advancing to round number 3. Those are going to be my round 2 predictions. It's going to be a great series. Round 2 is going to be awesome. I can't wait to see who comes out and who goes to the conference games because those are going to be our first non-divisional games of the season. That's going to be crazy, and I'm looking forward to it. If you guys want to let me know who you guys are rooting for in the comments, I would love to read them. I might respond to you guys. It's been fun. Check out my live streams. They're going to be fantastic. And that's the final. So I gave this series 7. I gave the Carolina Hurricanes and Lightning 6 or 7. I will give the Boston Bruins and New York Islanders. I'll give that a 6. And either the Toronto Maple Leafs, Winnipeg Jets, or the Winnipeg Jets and Montreal Canadiens, I will also give them 5 games each. I don't care about who wins. I think the winner will only take 5 games. And that's the final score. Thank you, and good night.